xAI's trade secret lawsuit against OpenAI has been dismissed. The Pentagon has given Anthropic until Friday to let it use Claude as it sees fit. And Uber previewed its Dubai air taxi service this week. It's Wednesday, February 25th, and here's a quick look at tech news this morning from Engadget. OpenAI has successfully convinced the court to dismiss the lawsuit filed by Elon Musk's xAI, accusing the company of stealing its trade secrets. In her decision, U.S. District Judge Rita Lynn wrote that xAI's complaint does not point to any misconduct by OpenAI, and instead attributes all listed misconducts to its 8 former employees who left for OpenAI at around the same time. Lynn said that xAI accused 2 of its former employees of stealing its source code before leaving at a time when they were already speaking to an OpenAI recruiter. However, the company did not say if the recruiter told those former employees to do so. xAI's lawsuit also accuses 2 other former employees of keeping their work chats on their devices even after leaving, another of refusing to provide certifications related to confidential information after his departure, and another of unsuccessfully trying to access xAI hiring and data center optimization information when he was already working for OpenAI. xAI did not include any information that directly accused OpenAI of making those employees steal its trade secrets. It also did not include allegations that those former employees used any stolen trade secrets after they were already working for OpenAI. Now, to be precise, OpenAI's motion for dismissal was granted with leave to amend, so the lawsuit may not be completely over just yet. That means xAI can still file an amended complaint addressing what the judge wrote in her decision until March 17th. OpenAI and xAI have a long-standing feud, and this is just one of the several lawsuits between the 2 companies. In fact, Musk has an ongoing complaint against OpenAI and Microsoft, accusing the former of violating its nonprofit status. Musk, who was an early funder of OpenAI, is now asking the company for $79 billion to $134 billion in damages from wrongful gains. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth will reportedly give Anthropic until Friday to drop certain guardrails for military use. That's according to a report by Axios. The outlet also reported that CEO Dario Amodei met with Hegseth yesterday as the Pentagon ratcheted up pressure on the AI company to give in to its demands. The makers of Claude have reportedly been offered an ultimatum: either yield to the government's demands to remove limits for certain military applications, or potentially be forced to tailor its AI model to the government's needs under the Defense Production Act. Anthropic, for its part, has said that while it was willing to adopt certain policies for the Pentagon, it would not allow its model to be used for mass surveillance of Americans or for the development of autonomous weapons. Claude is currently the only AI model employed in some of the government's most sensitive work. One defense official told Axios, "The only reason we're still talking to these people is we need them, and we need them now. The problem for these guys is they are that good." The Pentagon is reportedly ramping up conversations with OpenAI and Google about using their models for classified work. ChatGPT and Gemini are already approved for unclassified government use. Elon Musk's xAI also recently signed with the DoD to use Grok in classified systems. Uber is one step closer to going airborne. On Wednesday, the company previewed its air taxi booking service ahead of an expected launch in Dubai later on this year. Now, the inaugural Uber Air program will let travelers book Joby Aviation's electric air taxis through a familiar process in the Uber app. The experience of booking an air taxi will be much like reserving a 4-wheeled Uber. In the app, after entering your destination, Uber Air will appear as an option for eligible routes. The Uber app will book a flight and an Uber Black to pick you up and drop you off at a Joby vertiport. Joby's air taxis, built exclusively for city travel, can accommodate up to 4 passengers and luggage. Now, there will be size and weight guidelines, with Uber saying those will be announced closer to launch. The interior is about the size of an SUV, and it has comfortable seating with panoramic windows. These can travel up to 200 miles per hour, and they have a range of up to 100 miles. 4 battery packs and a triple redundant flight computer are on board for safety purposes. The air taxis are not yet autonomous and will each have a human pilot on board. That would at least suggest high prices. After all, pilots are not nearly as cheap as Uber's legion of independent contractor drivers. But the company insists its air taxi rides will somehow be around as expensive as an Uber Black trip. Dubai is only the beginning of the company's plans. The U.S.-based Joby says it's in the final stage of FAA-type certification and hopes to launch service in New York and Los Angeles. Globally, it's targeting the UK and Japan as well. As for how realistic a U.S. launch is anytime soon, well, that is up for debate. On one hand, President Trump signed executive orders last year that would create a pilot program to test such aircraft. But safety and cost considerations may require a grounding of expectations. Thanks for listening. There's more tech news at Engadget.com. This episode featured journalism from Mariella Moon, Andre Revilla, and Will Shanklin, and was voiced and produced from the sound studios of Spoken Layer. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back tomorrow with more tech news from Engadget.